As the release date for RELL Seas has been getting more and more closer, I've had a very big question about the game, and it is that, can RELL Seas surpass Bloxfruits on Roblox? So I'll be looking at where I believe RELL Seas has done better than Bloxfruits and where I believe it's failed to do better than Bloxfruits in this video. And easily, the first thing you can point out is the difference in quality. If you've at least played Bloxfruits or if at least seen some of RELL Seas, you can easily tell there's a massive difference in the quality. Like, I've seen sneak peeks of RELL Seas and I've played Bloxfruits and I just don't feel the same level of quality. Like, I watched some videos about, RELL Seas and stuff like that, and you can kind of tell the gameplay is a lot more smoother. It looks better overall. Everything just looks a lot more, it just looks better. Like, but with Bloxfruits, it kind of feels like a 2017 game if you play the game. It just doesn't feel like as new, and obviously don't feel as new as RELL Seas, but it just doesn't feel the same way. The quality is noticeably a lot lesser. It just doesn't have that same type of look to it. The way Haki works in RELL Seas as well is way better than what's done in Bloxfruits. Haki is a lot more complicated from what I've seen in RELL Seas. Like, the system that's implemented into RELL Seas to use Haki is a lot more stuff you have to kind of learn how to do. It's a lot more skill based. You kind of have to learn the mechanics a lot more in comparison to, like, if you play Bloxfruits, right? Using the Haki system, it's not anything complicated. I feel like anyone who can play the game once they can understand it is not hard at all. Now, in terms of bosses, I also think RELL Seas takes it as well, because I've already seen the videos of like how the bosses work and everything. It's a lot more skill based. Like, that's something I've noticed between both games. It's a lot more skill required with RELL Seas to actually, do a lot of stuff. Like, the skills you need to kind of defeat the boss, you can't really spam or anything like that. You can't spam, moves and everything. You have to kind of, be smart, because the bosses are a lot more complicated in the game as well, I've noticed. But when it comes to Bloxfruits, you can kind of get away with just spamming your moves, to be honest. Like, you can get away with just, spamming anything you want with a lot of the time with the bosses, because the bosses, they're not that hard to beat. Like, if you play the game, like, from my own first-hand experience, it's not hard. In terms of what you can do in both games, I feel like Bloxfruits has a little bit more you can do in the game in comparison to RELL Seas. And this is mainly because the quests in RELL Seas, from what I've seen, they're not a lot. They're complicated. Like, I've seen some of the quests. It's like a fishing quest in the game. I'll show a video up here as well. There's a fishing quest you can kind of do in the game, which, requires a little bit of skill. But apart from that, there's not a whole lot of quests you can do in the game, at least from what I've seen. But with Bloxfruits, on the other hand, like, the game's been out for quite a long time, so there's a lot more stuff you can do in Bloxfruits, like, in comparison to RELL Seas, from what I've seen. Because, like I said, Bloxfruits just has a lot. It's been here for a lot more time than RELL Seas has, and RELL Seas is still in development as well. So it might not get a lot of quests till like later on through the development of the game. But so far, from what I've seen, like, Bloxfruits, it has more quests. It has a lot more stuff you can do. Obviously, it don't require that much skill to do it, but in terms of like what you can do in the game, it's a lot more than RELL Seas. Now, the combat in both games are very, very different. RELL Seas combat is just way more smooth than Bloxfruits combat. You can do a lot more of the combat in terms of, M1s, combinations, you can implement a lot of your Devil Fruit abilities into your combat as well. So it just really helps out in terms of the way combat moves and everything like that. But with Bloxfruits, I just feel like it's lacking in terms of the smoothness, the stuff you can do with the combat. Unfortunately, Bloxfruits just does not have very good maps. Like, the maps are just lacking in terms of, the level of quality that you see in RELL Seas compared to the maps you see in Bloxfruits. It don't look the same. You can't even put them in the same category. Like, I feel bad putting them in the same sentence right now, because I've played the game, like I said, and I don't really like the way the maps look. It looks way too basic, I would say. Like, you just kind of move around. It feels like everything looks very plastic. It just doesn't look that well done, in my opinion. Like, it kind of reminds me of, like I said earlier in the video, 2017 game. Like, it shouldn't really feel like that. So I feel like I can edge that in terms of the way it looks towards RELL Seas, to be honest. Like, I just think the maps are just way better done, and that might just come down to the fact that RELL Seas is a newer game. Like, it's coming out sometime this year as well. So in terms of the way it's gonna look, it's gonna look a lot more modernized, because it's a fresh new game for, a one-piece type of game anyway. So it's naturally gonna look a lot more better. And last but not least, the Devil Fruits. In my opinion, this is actually going to be a tie. And the reason why I say this is because when it comes to the Devil Fruits, I feel like Bloxfruits is mainly focused on, like, making sure the fruits look as good as possible in terms of the abilities, what players can do with them, and how they just work in general. Like, you can tell Bloxfruits, they put a lot of time and care into how the Devil Fruits work and everything like that. So, and with RELL Seas as well, it's the same thing. You look at the sneak peeks, right? You can see the effects. You can see, like, Ace's fruit as well. You can kind of see his ultimate. It's really well done, and it's really a lot of effort. And a thought process, put towards it looking good. I would say also RELL Seas does a great job in terms of using cutscenes for their fruits as well. I've seen some cutscenes, I'll put a video up here as well again, but there's a nice video I've seen of like Ace's Devil Fruit as well, and that has a really nice cutscene in terms of like what the fruit can do. So I really like how they've done that. But I'll just put it as a tie, to be honest, because I think both games does a great job in terms of the fruits. Like I said before, Bloxfruits is mainly focused on, I feel like, in my opinion, making sure those fruits look as good as possible and they work really well. And I feel like RELL Seas has also done a great job in terms of, making sure the fruits work as well as possible. So yeah, in my opinion, that's just a tie. And thanks for watching the video. Catch me later. I'll be probably posting soon anyways. But yeah, thanks for watching the video, and yeah, make sure to like and subscribe. And see you guys later.